Greetings one and all, and welcome to Beyblade Central. So glad to see you here. For today's show, we have our first ever UX Blade from Hasbro. Yeah, crazy right? We've already gotten CX for TT, and some people already got CX for Hasbro, and yet I am barely getting Hasbro's UX, which I found this in my local Target. This Target in particular had several UX Blades, including Hell's Hammer and Shinobi Shadow. However, when I returned the next day to get some things I forgot, there were no more UX Blades, which means they were all sold out in less than 24 hours, which is pretty insane if you think about it. Anyhow, this particular UX Blade is one I was genuinely really looking forward to, since this is the second original Hasbro recolor, which now that I'm saying out loud does not seem like a very good thing, but hey, at least we get something. This Dran Buster recolor, or Buster Dran, whatever you want to call it, is essentially a mix of both Dran Buster and Wizard Rod. While I like the concept of mixing the two blades together to make this recolor, I really don't like how it was executed, but we'll get to that in just a moment. For now, let's crack this thing open. Alright, now that we have everything outside of the box, I gotta say I really like the blade. Even though it is just a yellow recolored Dran Buster, it gives off the same sort of vibes that the rare / exclusive Dran Busters gave, so it's pretty nice. I also like that for the flames coming out of its mouth, they actually tried to make something cool with it and give it a cosmic like texturing or effect to it, reminding me a lot of Mona from Genshin Impact. I do sort of wish that the blue hooks would have been more transparent, as while they aren't a solid color, they aren't transparent either, which makes it look a bit off depending on the lighting. As for the parts, we have 570 and DB. 570 is a pretty good ratchet, and it's really good for any type, and it's preferred over 80 when it comes to taller builds. This ball, on the other hand, isn't a part I really care about, since it performs the same, if not worse than the original ball, giving no real incentive to use it over ball. Not to mention, it's also taller than the original, and we have a better variants like free ball, so again, no real reason to use this ball. I mean, don't get me wrong, these parts aren't too terrible as I mentioned before, but I think it's incredibly lazy that Hasbro decided to use these parts, since they are the same parts as Wizard Rod, and worse than that, they're the same color from the UX Stadium set. So yeah, the only original part in this is the blade itself. I would have really liked them for them to have given some original recolor parts similar to what they did to the Unicorn Sting recolor. Or if they wanted to make a Dran Buster and Wizard Rod hybrid, then give us Excel over Disc Ball. And give us some better colors for these parts, because again, simply reusing recolors TT has already made is very lazy and a major missed opportunity in my opinion. Overall, I really like this blade as a recolor, but as a starter, I can't really recommend it since there is much to be desired. If it were a single pack, then maybe I would have excused it, since it is a fairly cheap set and these parts would be more accessible. And it would be our first UX booster from Hasbro, but to be honest, I don't think Hasbro will release a UX or even CX booster. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and to not miss out on any future uploads. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye bye.